So yesterday we learned the moving averages and then we went on to methods of least square. Okay, so we understood what is this method of least square. Now in this method of least square, we are going to draw the trend or find the trend using the regression technique. Okay, so there's a technique called regression technique where we will be using the regression equation. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, let's continue. So here under the least square method, a straight line will be represented for the average movement of values. Now before we were checking or we were calculating the averages of whatever trend or the data was given to us, but here we are not going to do that. We will be finding out the equations by least square, where we consider the time as well as we will be considering the regression equation. Then this method is termed as method of least square because the sum of squares of the individual deviations between the actual values is computed and the trend value will be at least. So there will not be too much difference between the actual value and the predicted or the future value. Okay, so we are trying to reduce that gap between the actual and whatever we have calculated, so that we will be able to get accurate amounts or accurate values which will help us to understand it even better or even best. Okay, now further we will have to understand to how to reduce that gap. Okay, so we will be finding out summation of y minus yc. Okay, yc is nothing but the trend value, and we will also find out y minus yc square is the least value that we can get. Then, but what are we trying to do at the end of the day? We will be representing the values in a straight line. Okay, we'll be representing the values in the straight line, which represents the trend, which will represent the trend. And when we plot it on a graph sheet, it will give us the very good trend, which is known as line of best fit. Okay, the trending line is known as line of best fit. Then how do we find that? We will be using this is the basic equation for the straight line. Now what is that? YC, that is the trend value, is equal to A plus BX. Okay, A plus BX. Now what is this A? A is nothing but the value of Y when X is equal to 0. So we will have X axis and Y axis. This is X axis and this is X axis and this is Y axis. Okay, this line is Y axis and this line is X axis. Okay, now what are the values of A? When X is 0, what all values do you get it on Y? This is known as A. Then Bx, the slope of the trend line or amount of change in Y variable that is associated with the change in 1 unit of X variable. So X is time. So there is time here which is given. Let's say 2001, 2002, 2003, 2004, 2005, 6, 7, 8 and so on. We will have the time. Now what is this B value? B value is something where these 2 points of X and Y meet. This will be the B value. So this is the basic equation of a straight line. Now suppose if I have the values like this, now if you see there is a straight line which I can draw through these points. So this will be the regression equation or the line which is of best fit. Okay, understood till here? The straight line form of equation, and what does it represent? Okay, Now, how do we find out the two values of A and B? Now we know that A is the values in Y and B is the values which meet A and X and Y points. But how do we find the value of A and B? So for that we will be using simultaneous equations. So simultaneous equations is where we are solving two equations together by multiplying them with the common factor. Okay, so that is simultaneous equation. So what are those equations? The two equations are derived in this format. So let us see what is equation number 1. Summation y or sigma y is equal to na plus b sigma x. So please memorize this equation. This is very, very important because this question of methods of least square will compulsorily come for 6 marks. Very rarely it comes for 14 marks. You can expect it for 14 marks also, but 6 marks, one problem will come. So sigma y is equal to n into a plus b into sigma x. That is equation number 1. And equation number 2 is summation or sigma xy. So we will multiply x and y values, which is equal to a into sigma x plus b into sigma x square. Let us read the equations once again. Sigma y is equal to n into a plus b into sigma x. That is equation number 1. And sigma xy is equal to a into sigma x plus b into sigma x square. This is equation number 2. Now in this, let us understand what the equation denotes. So we have capital N. So what is capital N? Total number of time periods. For how many years are we calculating? For how many months are we calculating? Or what are the number of times that we are calculating? All that will be considered for total number of periods. Then coming to x, x is nothing but time deviations. And then y is actual values. So we will have time deviations. We will assume because they have told it is x is equal to time. So time deviations we will assume. And then there are two ways of assuming this time deviations that we will see in the first problem. And then y are the actual values which are given in the problem. And then a and b are constants where we will solve a and b using the simultaneous equation. Understood till here? Any doubts in the simultaneous equation part? Can we go to the first problem? Okay, so this is the first problem. Fit a straight line to the following data by the method of least squares. Okay, by the method of least squares. Now let's see the problem. Year 2006, 2007, 2008, 2009, 2010, 11 and 12. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years given to us. And then coming to production, these are the Y values which are given to us: 100, 120, 136, 124, 118, 132 and 140. So these are the values that is provided to us in the question. And what they have asked, fit a straight line by the method of least squares. They've clearly mentioned it is the method of least square. Okay, so let us go to the solution. Now in the solution, you are supposed to form or you are supposed to understand how to do it. So first we will write down year from the question. Now if you see the question, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So you have all that given. Now then you have y values 100, 120, 136, 124, 118, 132 and 140. So those are the y values which are here. Okay, those are the y values which are here. Now I told you x is the time. X is the time or the time deviation. X is the time or the time deviation. So there are two ways of assuming the time deviation. Okay, here we have assumed this time deviation. The first way, okay, the number one way to use or to assume the time deviation is like this. We start from 0 for year 2006. So 2006, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so from 0 you will have until 6. So this is one way of assuming the values. Okay, there is another way. The second way of assuming the value is we will start for 0 for the middle of the distribution. Okay, now here you have 7 values: 2006, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now out of these 7 values, 2009 is the central year. So I assume 0 here, and then above it will be -1, -2 and -3, and below it's going to be 1, 2 and 3. Okay, so this is the second way of assuming the time when you are solving methods of least square. Clear? Everybody understood till here? Okay. Now, in this problem, we are going to use the first method. That is, for the first year, we start with 0 as x. For the x value, we'll start with 0. And then from there, we will go on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so this is your x and y. This x is very important because you'll use that to, you'll be using that to calculate in the further ways. If this x goes wrong, then your final answer will also go wrong. So please understand and be careful while you're assuming the x values here. Fine. Now, once we have here, we have x and we also have y. Now let us calculate the next point, that is x into y. So just multiply this column and this column. So 0 into 100 is nothing but 0. 1 into 120 is 120. 2 into 136 is 272. 3 into 124 is 372. 4 into 118 is 472. 5 into 132 is 660. 6 into 140 is 840. So we are just multiplying x into y. Okay, so that will give us x and y. And then we are supposed to square the x. Now, why are we finding out x, y and x? We require this to solve simultaneous equation. Okay, we require all these values to solve simultaneous equation. Now here for x square, just square these values. 0 square is 0, 1 square is 1, 2 square is 4, 3 square is 9, 4 square is 16, 5 5s are 25, 6 into 6 is 36. So that will give us the values of x, y, xy and x square. Understood till here? Okay, so let us continue. Now for the last Trend values we will come back later. Now using all these values, we will first total all the values here. Okay, this is very important to total all the values. Now once you total all the values, sigma x is 21, sigma y is 870, sigma xy is 2736 and sigma x square is 91. Now let us go and solve the simultaneous equation. Now here, consider the simultaneous equation. Now if you remember, these were the standard forms of equation that we had. This is equation number 1 and this is equation number 2. So equation 1 is sigma y is equal to n into a plus b into sigma x. Then equation 2 is sigma xy is equal to a into sigma x plus b into sigma x square. Now let us just put all the values from the question till here to here. Substitute the values and solve. Sigma y. What was sigma y? What did we find? Sigma y is 870. Sigma y is 870. So we take that 870. Next, n. N is the total number of years that we have. So if you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we have 7 years. So we will be taking 7 and a is a constant. So keep it as it is. Then coming to b. B is a constant. Keep it as it is. Then after that, sigma x. So sigma x is 21. So we'll take that as 21b. So 870 is equal to 7a plus 21b. Understood? Understood equation number 1? How did we get the values? Now going on to equation number 2, sigma xy. Now what is sigma xy that we solved? 2736. So 2736 is equal to sigma x. Okay, sigma x is 21. So 21a. A is a constant. A and b, we will be solving it. Okay, so we will not copy any values as a and b. Next, sigma x square is 91. Now this is here, sigma x square is 91, so it is 91b. Okay, so these are your simultaneous equation which we will be solving, that is equation 1 and equation 2. Understood? Can we move further? Now, these equations are supposed to be solved simultaneously. Now, how do we solve it simultaneously? We will first make either A or B with the same constant. Now, if you see here, equation number 1 is 7a plus 21b is equal to 870. I have just taken 870 to the other side. Okay, so 7a plus 21b is equal to 870. And equation 2 is 21a plus 91b is equal to 2736. Now, if you see these two equations, if I multiply 7 3s, I will also get 21a. 7 3s are 21. So if I multiply this first expression with 3, I will also get 21 here. So which means I can cancel 21a and 21a. So I'll be able to find out the value of b. So for that what I do, I cannot multiply only one constant or one expression with 3. So I will be multiplying the whole equation, the first whole equation with 3. So when I multiply whole equation with 3, 7 3s are 21a, 21 into 3, 21 3s are 63, so 63b, 870 into 3, is 2610. Now, why am I doing this? Only because I will be able to cancel 21A and it will be easy for me to solve for B. So that is why I multiply 3 here. There is no hard and fast rule. It should be 3 only for every number. You have to check the equation. Compare the first equation expression with the second equation expression. Here you have 21A. You try doing this also to 21A. Okay. Now, since there is already 21A in the second equation, I will just multiply it by 1, because if I multiply it by 1, it will be the same number itself. So 21 into 1 is 21A plus 91B into 1 is 91B plus 2736 into 1 is 2736. Okay. Now, you are supposed to subtract both of the equations. Okay. Equation 1 minus equation 2. You are supposed to subtract both the equations. Now, when you are doing that subtraction, you will be changing the signs here. Now, if you have plus 21A, but when you're subtracting, you'll change that to minus 21A. That's why we have changed the signs. That's a rule according to the simultaneous equation. And then when it comes to the second, again you have plus 91B, but it's going to change to minus 91B. And here you have plus 2736. So that will be changing to minus 2736. Okay. Now, if you see here, I have plus 21A and minus 21A. I have plus 21A and minus 21A. You cannot consider this plus sign because I just told you we have changed the signs. Correct? So plus 21A minus 21A, I can cancel them. It will be nullified. Now what is remaining? Plus 63B minus 91. So 63 minus 91 is minus 28. If you're getting confused, use the calculator. 63 minus 91 is minus 28. And then take down B as it is. Then coming to the last part here, that is 2610 minus 2736. We are subtracting a smaller number with a bigger number. So you will get minus in the answer. So minus 126. 2610 minus 2736 is minus 126. Now this is the expression which is remaining to you after solving it simultaneously. Now after doing that, it is easy to form or find out B now. Now this 28 is going to go to the other side, which means if it is multiplication on one side, it will become division on other side. If it is division on the other side, it will become multiplication after equals to. If it is plus on one side, it is minus on the other side. And if it's minus on one side, it is plus on the other side. Okay. Using this transpositioning rule, okay, this rule is called as transpositioning. I am going to take this multiplication to the other side. So it will become division. So B is equal to minus 126 divided by minus 28. Now, if you do this division, here minus and minus will go, it will get cancelled. And then 28 into 4.5 is 126. So your final answer for B. So we found out what is the value of B in the equation. So that is the first part of your problem. Everybody understood till here? Any doubts? Okay. Manu Kumari, can I know which part you want me to repeat it once again? The simultaneous? Okay, 63b. Fine, fine. Okay, now here you have this first equation and the second equation. Now out of these two equations, if you see A, one is 7a, the other one is 21a. Now if I multiply this 7a into 3, I will get 21a. And if I have both of them as 21a, I can cancel them like this, because one will be plus 21 and the other one will be minus 21. Okay, so I cannot only multiply 7 by 3, but instead I am going to multiply the whole equation by 3. So when I multiply whole equation by 3, 7 into 3 is 21a, 21 into 3 is 63, 870 into 3 is 2610. So this will be my equation number 1. And then coming to the second equation, since second equation already has a 21a, so I need not multiply with any two big numbers. So I will be multiplying that with 1 so that I can retain the equation like that only. So I'll multiply this with 1. 21 into 1, 21. 91 into 1 is 91. 2736 into 1 is 2736. Now when you're solving it simultaneously, you are supposed to change the signs for the second equation. So here, even though you have plus, suppose you have minus, let's say for example, you had minus 21a, then you have to change it as plus. If you have plus here, then you have to change it as minus. Okay, so that will be your two equations. Now cancel 21a and 21a, and then 63 minus 91 is minus 28b, 2610 minus 2736 is minus 126. So b is equal to minus 126 divided by minus 28. So the value of b is 4.5. Okay, the value of b is 4.5. Now after this, what are we supposed to do is, we will take this value of b 4.5 and we will substitute that in equation number 1. You can either take this equation here, equation number 1 means you can either take this equation, or you can also solve using this equation. Any equation you can do, but preferably go with these equations. The original equation, if you go, no, this number, Manu, it's not a rule. You have to go by 3 only. You have to check which is the suitable number, so that both the numbers are same. A and A here, both are same. You have to always check. Okay, there is no rule to take 3 always. I hope that was clear. Okay, so now let us take that b value and apply it in the equation number 1. Now when I apply that in equation number 1, 7a plus 21b is equal to 870. So 7a plus 21 into, what is the value of b? 4.5. So 21 into 4.5 is equal to 870. Then 7a plus 21 into 4.5, if you multiply, you get 94.5 is equal to 970. Now I already told you, anything which is plus onto one side, if it goes to the other side of equal to, it is going to become minus. So 94.5 on one side, if I get it to the other side, it is going to become minus 94.5. Okay, so 7a is equal to 870 minus 94.5. Now moving on further, 870 minus 94.5 will give you the answer of 775.5. So that is 7a is equal to 775.5. Then a is equal to 775.5 by 7. So your final value of a is nothing but 110.786. So using the equations, first we found the value of b and then we found the value of a. Okay, so we found the value of b and then we found the value of a. Any doubts until here? Did everyone understand? Okay. So now coming to the final step, that is, we have this straight line format, that is the standard straight line format. Now in this standard straight line format, let us put all the values of a and b in this. Okay. Now here you have yc, this is nothing but the trend value, is equal to a. What is a? 110.786 plus b is 4.5 into x. X we will not write anything. X we will be taking it from the question or whatever we have assumed. So a plus bx, 110.786 plus 4.5 into x. Now we have this equation given to us. This equation, let us take it to the question directly. Let us take it to the question. Now in the question, if you see here, in this table we have written that equation, which is 110.786 plus 4.5x. Now if you see the question, x values we have already assumed them, right? So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we have already assumed them. Now in the place of x, we have supposed to consider the respective value for the respective years. So 0 for 2006, 1 for 2007, 2 for 2008, 3 for 2009, 4 for 2010, 11 for 2005, and 12 for 6 for 2012. Okay. Now calculate the values here. Calculate the values. 110.786 plus 4.5 into 0 is 0. So you will again end up with 110.786. Next, if you do into 1, 110.786 plus 4.5. So 115.286. Points also will matter. So please be careful with that. So again, we are supposed to multiply 4.5 into 2, then add 110.786. Same thing happens with the other 4. Okay. Now once you find all the trend values, add all the trend values. Okay, add all the trend values. Your addition of trend values is supposed to come same as your y value. If you see here, you have 870 and also 870. So addition of your trend value should be equal to your y value variable. Understood? Understood? Any doubts? Okay. So this completes your question. Okay, this particular question is completed. Now, if at all in the question they ask you to draw the graph, here they have not asked you to draw the graph. Okay, if at all they ask you to draw the graph, then you should be considering the y values and the trend values, and then plot the graph like how we did for moving average. Okay, so I'm repeating it again. If at all they ask you to draw the graph, first plot all the y values. X will be year, x axis will be years, and y axis will be, firstly we will plot all these values of y, and then we will plot all the values or the trend values that is being given to us. Now if you see, they are very close to each other. 100, 110.786, 120, 115, 136, 119, and then you have 124, almost same but a little more in the trend value, 124.786. So like this, you will have the y variables, and also we will plot the trend variables or the trend values. So that will be your graph if at all they ask. We will solve the graph questions also. Understood? Please go through the question once again and ask me if you have any doubts. These problems are very important from the examination point of view. So no doubts at all. Everybody understood? Okay.